Kathy, welcome to A House for Arts. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for inviting me.
So tell me about the mission of the Art and Culture program at the Albany Airport. What is its main goal?
The Art and Culture program at Albany International Airport is there to elevate the experience of travelers and also to really showcase the amazing cultural vitality of the region. So those are the main purposes of the program.
Why do you think it's especially important to show? Because I understand you show local culture and local artists. Is that an emphasis for the program?
Yeah, that's really at the core of the mission is, again, to showcase the region. So the artists and the cultural institutions that I work with are, they reside within about 100 miles of Albany.
Does this kind of aspect set the Art and Culture program apart from, say, art exhibitions or art shows at other airports in the U.S. or even internationally?
Well, it's funny. If you've seen one airport art program, you've seen one airport art program. Every one is incredibly distinctive and more and more reflects the region that the airport is in. And Albany is distinctive for many reasons. It's a small airport. And so for a small airport, the art program is incredibly robust. And it's also been going on for a really long time.
How old is it?
We're in our 22nd year. So we were one of the first programs really in the country. And one of the things that really distinguishes it too is that the airport program grew out of a recognition that celebrating art and culture through public art is just a really important business model. And so unlike a lot of airports around the country and around the world, the program grew not out of a legislated mandate which sets aside a certain percentage of funds from new construction for the presentation of public art. It grew just out of an enthusiasm for culture.
Right.
And so the program is funded entirely by the airport.
Give me an example of one of the more recent exhibitions or shows that you've done in the recent past, or that's up right now, right? Because the airport has to be open. It's open right now.
The airport is open and it is filled with wonderful art for travelers to see. And so, yes, throughout this time of great uncertainty, we still are hosting beautiful exhibitions for travelers. One of the prime features of the program has been the Albany International Airport Gallery, which occupies the 3rd floor of the terminal and is open to the public. It's on the land side, so it's accessible to anyone who comes to the airport.
Right. So you don't have to have a plane ticket to go in and then see it. Everybody who comes to the airport can see it.
Exactly. And then there are other exhibition and installation spaces beyond the checkpoint as well. So we kind of get you at every point that you enter the terminal.
Yeah.
The last exhibition, which recently closed in the 3rd floor gallery, was called Cut and Color. It was just beautiful work that was made by artists who are concerned with colorful abstraction and composed of things that had been pieced together, cut and pieced together. So there were a lot of relationships to textiles, for instance, to collage.
Right.
And there were 8 artists featured in that exhibition. Right. Like I said, that show recently closed, and we're actually going through a transition period with the 3rd floor. The gallery is under some construction right now, and we expect to open a new exhibition and a new gallery space in the spring. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah. And is that how you're also dealing with the kind of the relative quiet in the airport?
Yeah.
Is that an advantage for you to be able to make that transition?
It is.
In terms of art shows?
And we're doing that terminal-wide. The airport just went through a really exciting period of expansion. which was really necessary. We were maxed out a year ago, and there were so many travelers. And so we embarked on this period of great expansion, and it had been 20 years. The last time the new terminal opened was 1998, and so, you know, things were really in need of a big update. And so we embarked on that last year, and so now everything looks spectacular.
And while the installation's going, I'd imagine travelers are still kind of coming through when there are. So how does that work? I mean, how do you keep people safe in the midst of installation processes, and then there are travelers coming through, and physical distancing and masks and all that stuff?
Well, certainly under normal circumstances, installing artwork in the terminal is tricky because there is TSA. And there, you know, certainly the terminal is open 24/7. And so we take great precaution to protect our visitors and also to protect the artwork. And so that, you know, that really sets this kind of program apart from a regular museum or gallery, which can just shut the doors and no one sees the kind of how the sausage gets made.
Right.
It can be really exciting for travelers to see the whole process from start to finish. And I find that people are so interested and so curious about what we're doing and, you know, unfamiliar with there being art in an airport, and you know, especially if the artist is there themselves, the artist can answer questions and
so it's one of the
be an
programs you
ambassador.
have is to have the artist there too, to be an ambassador and greet people and greet travelers
and answer questions, and and people are fascinated, and so that is, I think, a really special and unexpected thing for people.
It sounds like it's one of the few indoor places that people can actually not congregate in big numbers, but to actually enjoy. I mean, we all miss places, right? But it was making me think, you know, when I think of airports, I think of lines where you wait, and then lounges where you're sitting, and then hauling your suitcases along and the kids along, and it's kind of, you know, there's a lot of rush and commotion, and then there's a lot of waiting. You know, I know you've talked about the artists as ambassadors and these shows. What do you think really kind of keeps people stopping to look at this art? What kind of stops them in their tracks to look at art at the airport?
Well, we try to place artwork in strategic areas where people are waiting.
Okay.
So in the concourse, for instance, you know, someone might be delayed on their flight, and they just need some time, and they want to decompress and just take a breath. And so we try to place artwork in areas where people can sort of feel as though they have a sanctuary in a way, a respite from the busyness of getting through the checkpoint or getting their coffee or getting to their gate. You know, there's this moment where they encounter something that maybe they didn't expect and can learn something about the culture in the area, about an individual artist. And you know, it's interesting. I find from, we have a guest book that I have in the past left out for people to write their impressions of the exhibitions.
Right. Just like at a museum or an art gallery, you'd run into a guest book.
Yeah, so what I find that people express is surprise, joy, and gratitude. And so that's primarily how I think that we provide this really, really important service for people when they're traveling.
Well, I can't wait, Kathy, to pack my bags again and prepare for another trip so I can see what's up next at the Albany Airport.
You will. Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you on the show, Kathy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.